Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. A second conversation this morning is still health related, and of course, it is talking about blood donation and how much this is instrumental to saving lives. And also there are issues around voluntary blood donation. And of course, we do know that June 14th every year is set aside as World Blood Donation Day. So this morning we'll be taking a look at how you and I can also be part of, the saving lives mechanism by ensuring that we sign on to the advocacy of being voluntary blood donors. Our guest is here this morning, and together we'll be taking a look at this particular conversation. Dr. Bodunrin Osikomaiya is the Executive Secretary, Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service. Thank you for being here, Dr. Osikomaiya.
Thank you for being Thank you for having me. It's always a delight coming to talk about this, really.
Right.
Yeah.
So, year in, year out, we talk about how important it is that, we all be part of the advocacy of voluntary blood donation. But for the benefit of those just tuning in for the very first time, how important is it for human beings to donate blood?
So, blood donation is the only way you can get blood to save lives, really, because it's produced within the body. We do not manufacture it from anywhere. So if an individual or does not donate blood, then there is no way you can get that blood for the person that needs it. And much more, it's better you are a voluntary blood donor, because the voluntary blood donors are the only ones that keep the blood banks full. So if you are not a voluntary blood donor, then you only donate blood when you are asked to donate blood or when something happens. But that doesn't keep the blood bank, so that doesn't make the blood available during emergencies. During emergencies, we cannot wait for you to donate the blood immediately.
Okay.
It has to have been donated, have been screened, stored, processed, and ready for usage. So we are just encouraging everybody. It's been like
ages.
ages. We keep talking about it, but it's really not our culture to donate blood. So we'll continue to talk about it until there's a change mindset, and then people begin to do it like a normal daily activity.
But are there improvements though yearly in the number of people who sign up voluntarily?
Yes, there are improvements, really. We're having more voluntary blood donation drives, as in the activity itself, and it's coming in with also much more blood donors, but the increase is minimal. We wish it could be much more, because we're talking more about it. It seems like we're not talking enough about it, but we are really talking about it, encouraging people to donate. We've even gone ahead to talk to people that are not yet eligible about blood donation, so that when they are eligible, so when they are eligible, they know what to do. It's not like they'll start having that change mindset.
So when you're eligible,
education.
is there an age range?
Yes, between 18 and 65 years old, you can donate blood.
18 and 65.
So we are going to secondary schools, talking to them. I'm even advocating that in primary school, when they have courses or moral education, civic education, that they should talk to them about giving, not specifically about blood donation. Because if you have the acts, if you give, then it's easy for you to give your blood. I've been advocating volunteering. You need to volunteer. If you are used to giving or doing things without expectation of any payback or a reward, then it's easy for you to donate blood when you're eligible to donate blood.
All right, let's talk about the World Blood Donor Day, which is slated for the 14th of June 2025. And the theme for this year is Give Blood, Give Hope, Together We Can Save Lives. So what are the activities lined up for this year? And of course, how do you intend to be strategically encourage Lagosians to continue to donate blood? And what do I stand to gain as well if I donate blood?
Yeah, so this year it's going to be awesome, really. We are having it within the Lagos Blood Transfusion headquarters, and the whole essence is for people to know where they can donate blood. So previous years we've been having it in parks, in halls, celebrating it within public places. But we found out that when we celebrate in public places, when it's time to donate blood, people that want to walk in to donate blood do not specifically know where to donate the blood, and they do not have an idea of how the environment is. So we are calling everybody to come to the headquarters for them to see what a donation center looks like, what the process is. So we have encouraged everybody. There actually is an agenda and a schedule of activity that people will go in batches to see where the blood is processed, to see how it is screened, to see how it is put into the database, and to see the people that actually request it. Because people will come in, they come in daily, they come in hourly to collect blood. So they will see the people that actually need the blood, to know that this blood that is being donated is actually being used by some people. So that is the strategy about celebrating this year's activity, this year's program within the Lagos Blood Transfusion Headquarters, within Bagada General Hospital. So how do you want to encourage Lagosians to donate blood?
Or what do I stand to gain health-wise when I donate my blood?
So really, the person that donates blood gains more than the person that receives blood. Yes, because first of all, you are you are able to talk to health professionals. You are given a question set. The questions are quite long, really. But you know, nobody wants to go to the hospital for a routine health check. Nobody wants to do tests because paying out of pocket could be so burdensome to many people. So you have a set of questions you answer. After those questions, if there is any issue, you talk to a healthcare provider who then refers you to a medical doctor if the need arises. And then apart from that, you do some tests, you do some routine tests like checkups, like the blood pressure, your pulse rate, your temperature. We check your weight. If you have any issues, we do some glucose tests sometimes. Because if you say, oh, I'm always urinating, you know, these are points of care tests that is available. Oh, you've been urinating, okay, let's check. What's your glucose like? Because you have such additional facilities for people that come over if the need arises. So if it not for everybody, if there is something that seems to triggering or predisposes you, or there is a suspicion of it, we could also do such related tests. Apart from that, you can have your HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and syphilis test done. That is after the blood donation. So please don't get scared. Because I'm scared about it. If you are able to, because voluntary donors are really truthful. They really do not lie. If there is any risk, they will say, oh, I can't donate blood. I've done something, or I heard something, or my doctor told me that I'm not eligible to donate blood, maybe temporarily or permanently. So voluntary blood donors are really truthful. So once you answer those eligibility questions and you have been truthful about it, there's really no cause to be afraid. Doctor, after the donation, then you can do all those things. But we really need to do all those things all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, because you do not know what you've been exposed to. And if you do not know your status, then how are you able to care for yourself?
Right. Don't you think this is one reason why a lot of people also run away from being donors? Because again, they have this mindset that, you know, well, what I don't know does not kill me. So it's best let me just keep away from all of these tests. And perhaps that is why a lot of people also do not want to be voluntary donors. As much as they like to help, they also think that, can I vouch for myself?
So really, that is the role of counsel. We do not collect blood from anyone except you counsel. So you'll be counseled that, you've answered this, we're going to check your blood. If there is an issue, you're going to have a doctor to take care of you. If there is no issue, please, you continue to come all the time. Really, we cannot continue to run away from the truth. It's like you are doing your blood pressure. Many people do not even want to do their blood pressure. But now that the reality comes, that many people are slumming down, they're dying for one reason or other, that we are beginning to do it. So we need to talk about it and counsel people about the reality of the truth that is happening now. But as I said, we don't do it before the donation. So if you come here, you're not going to start doing your test. For a voluntary donor, we just take your blood, because you've told us the truth and you are eligible to donate blood, and then thereafter you could check for all those infectious diseases.
Sorry, Jibola, peradventure you are a voluntary blood donor. You've donated over and over again, and then you're coming in this year to again, donate. Do you still need to carry out all those tests, or you just assume that that person has a clean check?
So every unit of blood is tested before donation.
Okay.
Because I might have been safe today and tomorrow I'm exposed to anything. For example, when we talk about infectious agents like hepatitis, you don't need to be sexually active to be infected with hepatitis. Having the blood of an infected person on the tabletop or a surface with a contact with it, as in if you also have a cut or something. So anything could expose us to things like this. And as I said, we don't routinely do clinical checks. So it's an opportunity. So that's the first advantage of doing that. Apart from that, apart from exposing hidden clinical conditions, you have this, voluntary donors are always happy. People, a lot of research has been done that their mental states is very, because you're saving lives. So there is this upliftment, and you're being empathetic. It's you're saving lives. No, you're doing good. So it always helps your mental states. As well as apart from that, you always give you some goodies.
like what?
Drinks, t-shirts, souvenirs, and the most important thing is that when you donate blood, you are given this card. It's a voluntary donation card. Your relatives have access to blood without replacements. Oh. We know that it is routine for most hospitals, because we don't have a lot of voluntary donors, to encourage you to replace blood when you need it. And it could really be burdensome too. You have a patient on the wards, you are running around trying to take care of the patient, and they're like, go and donate blood, go and meet your relatives, you know. There are so many things you're doing. So if you are a voluntary donor, that card gives your relatives an opportunity to receive blood without replacement. Okay. So we encourage hospitals to attend to voluntary donors. We also have our numbers on that card. So immediately you need blood, just call the headquarters, see, my relative needs blood, I am a voluntary donor, and then we get your details. We call the blood bank to also let them know that we have confirmed this person is a donor. Kindly attend to them. Even go as much as getting the blood from the headquarters down to the hospital where it's just needed, in case the hospital does not have the required blood group or the amount of blood needed for that patient. So really, there are lots of advantages. Nothing is as good as also research that says that voluntary blood donors have a reduced incidence of cardiac diseases and stroke, as well as cancers. So there are research studies that encourages donation, not just in the short term, but donation in the long term.
Okay, so before the medical checks and all the clinical checks that you're going to do within the health facilities, are there conditions that I need to fulfill or that I need to observe before coming to donate? That is one. And how many times can I donate in a year?
So definitely there are conditions, and that is the place of those questions. Apart from those eligibility questions that will ask you about your age, ask you about your exposure to risks, ask you about having fever before then. Even common cold is a reason for us not to clear you to donate blood at that time. Things of, if you're a female, are you on your menstrual flow? Are you breastfeeding? Are you pregnant? So there are so many questions that you need to answer first. Apart from those questions, you need to have a good meal, not an oily meal. Just a good meal, just before you come to donate, at least 2 hours before. We encourage you to hydrate. You know, blood is fluid. It's like we're taking liquid from you. So we encourage you to take a lot of fluids. Even while you are donating, we're giving you water to take fluids. The best...
Not malt.
Really, because the best replacement is actually water. But there is actually a role of those things, because they do have glucose in it. And as you are donating, you know, we're taking some of your energy away. So it helps to replenish all those energy that you've lost. I'm
sorry, Abimbola. So like how many times can I donate within a year?
You can donate at least every 3 months. So people 3 to 4 months can donate blood. 3 to 4 months every year.
So, I mean, the fear also is if you're donating your blood, up to 3 times in a year or 4 times, the fear is how do I, how do you replenish, in those months back? And then, again, some people are scared that when they give blood, I mean, like they say, blood is life. So what are the probabilities that they will definitely replenish? I'm sure that if they hear from you, the doctor, this morning, there will be that mindset that, there's nothing like too much blood or less blood, because some, again, will say, but if I give you part of what I have...
Actually, it's something like too much blood.
There is too much blood.
Yeah, I'll talk about it. So first of all, if you are healthy, your bone marrow produces blood. You're healthy and you're eating well. You don't need to eat large amounts of food, just the minimum, because our food contain nutrients like vitamin Bs, vitamin B1s, B12.
So if you're eating a balanced diet.
Just eat well, yes. Vegetables, we encourage a lot of vegetables, irrespective of people that donate blood. Anybody I see, eat well, eat vegetables. Take your okra, take ewedu, take your shoko, take fruits. Now that we are always talking about healthy eating, take your fruits, take your cucumbers and things like that. All those things, especially the green vegetables, they have iron in it, and they will help to replenish your blood because your bone marrow is working. And that is why we only take blood from healthy people. So automatically your body replenishes it. So we always tell people there is no cause for alarm. So males, we encourage. For females, because we do lose blood every month, sometimes you might not be able to donate blood more than twice a year. So for females, we do not push. Once we check if it's borderline, we tell you, no, I know it's borderline, you can donate blood, but you know, you might, when is your next menstrual flow? Because you don't want to collect a unit of blood that is from a borderline person. That is, if the level is between 12.5 and 13, we don't, if your menstrual flow is close by, because you will still shed more blood. So those are some of the questions we ask, and that is why you must be counseled. That is why you must have a healthcare professional talk to you. I'm talking about the body not being able to replenish things. Really, there are lots of myths. I've heard all sorts about blood donation. For example, if you donate blood, you are taking your life away. It shortens your lifespan. Please, it doesn't shorten your lifespan. People that donate blood actually live well. They have not heard of any relationship between people that donate blood and people that die early. There are many other reasons why we lose people, but healthy people do not die early. And really, we encourage you to donate blood. There are other myths too that will tell you that, as I said, I don't have enough blood, or but the blood is much. Yes, there could be too much blood here, and that is what we call the condition is a disease condition called polycythemia. So if there is too much blood in you, we don't use the blood. We will take the blood, we will discard it, but before then, we will make sure you see a hematologist. So we need
there has to be a reason why that is happening.
Yes, because it's not normal. Why should blood be too much? And you see some people with brown palms. Some of them will tell you that they're having headaches. Some of them will get tingling sensations in their ears. That's usually the first signs that there is something wrong. Most of the time, they keep taking anti-malaria. Also, you should get treated. And I like there's this advocacy now that we're doing. Get tested before you get treated for anything, because you need to know what's wrong. So usually when they've gone up and down, gone to all sorts of pharmacies, and they finally see a doctor, that is when they realize that there is an issue with their blood. Such people, we investigate them to be sure that it's not cancerous, and then they are sent to the blood center for bloodletting. We don't call it blood donation at that time. It's just a bloodletting. It is let in front of there is a protocol for the collection, and in front of the donor we discard the bag. It must not be used. Wow. Because it is not coming from a healthy person. And yes, there is little blood, because not everybody has adequate amount of blood. I know people,
when transfusion happens.
That is when, no, sometimes you don't need transfusion when it's not enough. You might just need to eat well. So before you get to the level of transfusion, if the blood is not adequate, we look at, and it depends on the level of inadequacy of the blood. Sometimes we encourage you to eat well. I prefer people eating well. There's nothing as good as eating well and eating the right thing. If after we try some dietary changes and it's not improving, then we begin to think about using drugs, multivitamins. And if at that time it is too low for you to live a normal lifestyle, maybe you are beginning to have signs of a decompensation, that's the word, then we need to transfuse you. But before we transfuse, a lot of investigations, would have been investigated. How are you losing blood? Do you have a cancer? Do you have an ulcer that is bleeding in you? And are you, for females, are you losing blood in large amounts during your monthly menstrual flow? So a lot of investigations would have been done. And that is why when you are not eligible to donate blood, we give you a referral card. We'll tell you to come back in 3 months' time if all questions have been asked and there is no suspicion of illness. If there is a suspicion of illness, we'll give you a referral card or a referral form to see a doctor.
So when I have too much blood in my system, what are the implications health-wise and the dangers that I'm likely to face? That is one. It is very easy to convince people like us on the need for us to donate blood, but at the grassroots level, how do you educate and, of course, encourage those market men and women and illiterates to also donate?
Yeah. So if you have the condition called polycythemia, as I said, there are lots of clinical symptoms you would feel that is quite discomforting. like persistent headache, no matter what, tingling sensations in your eyes. Some people, their eyes are bloodshot for no reason. Their palms, we call it pleuria, it's really dark. Understand? All those things are quite uncomfortable. Some people will tell you that they feel dizzy and or they feel heavy while walking. So those conditions might just be a pre-cancerous condition, like a pre-form of a blood cancer. So really it could be benign for people that live in places like Jos, for example, because they live in high altitudes, they live in mountains, and the oxygen levels are quite different from we that live at these types of levels. Your blood levels is high. So we need to be sure that it is normal for your condition or where you are, or it is a disease that might be related to cancer. So it depends on what is causing the excess blood. So for people at the grassroots, funniest thing, sometimes it's easy to convince the people at the grassroots. Really.
Because you're not speaking too much English.
You're not speaking too much English, especially if they've had somebody whose life was saved because of a blood transfusion. That is all they need. Sometimes it could be easy. One of the things with the grassroots is trust issues.
Right.
Once you are able to build their trust, and they have healthcare personnel within them at the primary healthcare centers or hospitals, and they tell them that this is why you need to do it, it's usually easier. And really, we have some sets of people that have particular villages, groups that they go there to collect, and because they do not, there's no pollution in the air they breathe, and they are not there eating junk food. They just eat vegetables. They eat what is on their farm. They actually have enough blood,
right?
Because they're farmers. They have their vegetable farms beside them. They have their
so they produce what they eat.
They produce what they eat. They just go eat. They don't need to buy chips and biscuits. So
big man and big problem.
Yes. So really, it's easier to really convince them at the grassroots to donate blood. We just have to do more.
Okay. So for those who will be coming, you know, to the program, who you would also want to encourage to donate blood on that day, are you also able to get them, you know, to donate blood on the spot, since they would, a couple of them might not have come in before, days before for counseling and all those question and answer sessions. So would you still have the time that day to ensure that you are you know, collecting safe blood from these individuals?
Yes, so really the counseling sessions are usually done, and the questions that you answer are done just before donation. You don't need to come in before. Though in corporate organizations, when we have maybe webinars or virtual trainings, sometimes we send the questions before. Usually on activities like this, events like this, the counseling session as well as the question answerings are done just before. So on that day, we have a place at Bagada It's called the Garden. They are going to have a lot of donation couches set outside. Within the headquarters itself, we have our donation couches already set up. You know, I told you that we are opening up the facility for people to
come in, how it's done.
Yes, so they will donate there. We will allow them to see their blood processed right in front of them. And if anybody is lucky, they will be able to see how blood is processed for people that need blood at that time. Their blood will be processed because you need to screen the blood using an automated system, which will take time, and it will take time out of the facility. So they will be exposed to all. So they're going to donate blood. They're going to answer the questions. They're going to see counselors. They will see other donors. Other donors are going to be the best people to advocate for voluntary donation, because they tell them, I donate blood, and I'm alive. I donate blood, I've just donated blood, or I'll be donating blood, you know, and then they'll show them the cards, because those cards document the numbers of times you've donated blood. So you tell them, say, I've donated 50 times, I've donated 100 times. You have
those are like ambassadors.
Our ambassadors. So every donor is an ambassador for us, really. Once you've donated once, and you're coming back a second time, you have become an automatic ambassador to us. So they will all be there to talk to people that have never donated, and to talk to people that have donated before, to become regular blood donors.
Okay, so aside from the activities for the 14th of June, and if I'm not in Bagada or anywhere close to Bagada, can I just walk into any health facility and donate blood, or what are the processes that I need to follow? Yeah,
so you can walk to any healthcare facility.
Good.
So, for example, we do not collect blood at all at the primary healthcare centers because of the way it has been structured. But all the secondary healthcare facilities have a blood bank. and all of them are being encouraged to donate blood. We have had meetings. It is every hospital, secondary healthcare facility, and lawsuits too need blood to keep people alive. So they are all prepared to welcome blood donors. The medical directors have invested in drinks, souvenirs. Blood transfusion service is also supporting all hospitals with consumables so that the voluntary donors can have a very, very memorable time while donating blood. We also have some registered private facilities. Kindly check up on the BTS to know which of the private facilities can donate blood, because we encourage private facilities to also have blood donation centers. If they have a blood donation center licensed by the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service, evidenced by the Lagos State Blood Transfusion logo at their reception or within their labs, please, you can donate blood too. And please don't forget to tell them that you are a voluntary blood donor.
All right, Doctor, very quickly, I'm sure a lot of people are also wondering if you are donating blood voluntarily, you're not getting any monetary reward for that process. Why then is blood sold?
So blood is not sold.
Okay.
Really.
Why then do you have to pay a token?
Yes, you have to pay really, because first of all, it's not that we advocate, we do not want it, but you need to pay for the processing of the blood.
Okay, so when you say processing,
when I collect blood from anybody, the blood has not been tested to be sure that it's safe. We do not want to collect blood from someone and transfuse into another person without ensuring that the blood is safe for transfusion, that it does not have HIV, does not have hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and syphilis. And all these tests cost money. And the thing about Lagos State is that we do not use a rapid test kit, so that the strips, which could come with a lot of false positives and false negatives. We use a fully automated World Health Organization approved system, and that is why the blood in Lagos State is the best of the best. I can tell you it's the best quality because we do the right. We've been doing it for 20 years really, compared to other states. With 20 years of doing the same thing over and over, I can imagine how much quality services, quality assurance processes have been put into it. Apart from that, blood is collected in consumables. We buy blood bags that have specialized liquid called anticoagulants. We don't produce it in Nigeria at all. It's imported from Europe, from China, from Australia, from America. These things need to be paid for. Apart from this, we are talking about the injections to take the blood for the test. We are talking about cotton wool, plasters. So many things are needed to ensure that this blood is safe. Much more than that, blood must be kept in cold chain. We must buy cold blood banks. These blood banks must be maintained with electricity. Right. I had visitors yesterday and they were like, how do you keep your cold chain? And we went from national grid electricity. From national grid electricity, we have the solar system also supporting us. We have the petrol generators. We have the diesel generators. At no point in time
should there not be power.
And so these things are supported by fuels and diesels and all the things cost money. Right. So all the things are what they actually pay for.
So is there a standard amount that is being charged by the blood bank in Lagos?
So in Lagos State, you pay a token of 7,000 for this. But this
from the bank?
From the bank.
Okay.
But this is different from the private blood banks. Okay. So the question always comes, if we go to the hospitals, the public facilities, and we're paying a token of 7,000, why is it that we go to the private and we are paying like 3, 4, 5 times that
over.
And I always say something that Mr. Governor has been quite magnanimous to us to support and subsidize it. Okay. In other climes, even at the federal, we pay as much as maybe 6 times that amount.
But do you regulate the private?
We do not regulate because we do not pay their rents for them. What we do is that we ensure that the blood is safe. Okay. The most important thing about blood is that this blood is safe. Right. So we go there, we monitor them, we train them.
Do they carry certificates from you?
Yes,
that they are also getting safe blood?
Yes. So the first thing is that before you can even have a private facility, you would have gone through the process.
Okay. So you would have certified them.
You would have certified and given them a license. Okay. Apart from that, you would have gone through a lot of trainings. You have written reports of your trainings. And finally, the blood that is collected is not screened by them. It is screened by a centralized process at the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service. So all the screening centers are under the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service. It is the Lagos State staffs that have been employed at trade that screen the blood, they use the machines.
Right.
And they work with some private-public partnerships to ensure that at no point in time, strike or no strike, that this blood is continually screened.
Right. So, is there anything you're looking out for when you're purchasing or when you're buying blood in Lagos, just to be sure you're buying something correct?
I like that. It makes me happy because that is what the end users do not see the process. They see. So you must look out for the Lagos State Blood Transfusion logo. So you see the Lagos State logo there. And then you must look out for a certification number. Each unit of blood has its own unique certification number. And I think it's an opportunity for me to also mention the transition between the logos and having a QR code. So people are beginning to see units of blood with QR codes that you can use your phone to scan to know when it was donated, what test has been done. And so because the logo just shows you a Lagos State logo with a certification number, now we are having units of blood with QR codes that you can know the blood group, the exact test that was done, when the blood was collected, how it was done, and where it was done.
Okay.
So we are beginning to transit to a fully automated system that every end user, once you have a phone, an Android phone, you can just scan the QR code and no more. So a lot of things are happening at the blood transfusion service to make sure that blood is safe for everybody within Lagos State and beyond if they want to use our blood.
Okay, that token of 7,000 naira that you mentioned earlier, as a donor, would I also have to pay? That is one.
No.
And okay, no.
Donors don't pay.
Okay, good.
You are helping to save lives. Donors don't. Please, if anybody tells you to pay a token before you donate blood, you have our numbers everywhere. Call the Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service. You do not pay to donate blood.
And what are you doing to promote this culture of blood donation among our children?
Yeah. So first of all, we are here talking. I'm happy that it is meet and break. And students, they're all watching it. We have, as I said, we have a program called Educate Senior Secondary School Students, where we talk to people, students from SS1 and SS. Usually, the students in SS3 might not be involved because they have a lot of programs. If they are free, they join, where we teach them and encourage them and educate them on the essence of donating blood when they can be eligible to donate blood. So that is the best we do. Other things we do is to advocate for the Ministry of Education to begin to add given, not actually, that's why I say it's not actually blood donation, because the principle of blood donation is volunteering and the principle is given. So things like given and then volunteering should be imbibed into, or should be imputed into ongoing educative curriculums.
Right.
And they're much more than that. Every time we talk to our donors, we tell our donors that when your children are not in school, encourage them to do something for free. Let them help a neighbor somewhere. That is where the volunteering comes. Because what you teach them in school to volunteer needs to be implemented at home. And that is the role of parents. Tell your children, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, let's go to that orphanage and go and work for them for one
volunteer
day.
your time.
Just volunteer your time. Or there's a neighbor that is an elderly person there, go help this neighbor to do something. So once you are able to volunteer or to give, it becomes a natural thing. So by the time you are told that, look, you are eligible to donate blood, do you want to save lives? You don't think twice. You just say, oh, yes, I'll save life, because it has become a culture. So I think that is what we should concentrate on. Not exactly say you must donate blood, you must donate blood. Yes, we need to tell people to donate blood, but much more than that, we need to imbibe the culture of giving and volunteering.
All right, we'll have to leave this conversation here this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Bodunrin Osikomaiya, Executive Secretary, Lagos State Blood Transfusion Service, for finding time to again educate us on reasons why we must also be part of those saving lives through blood donation. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Right, of course, we've been speaking with our guest on the program today, and she's taking us through all we can benefit from, joining the advocacy on helping save someone's life by being a regular blood donor. June 14th is the date. You can also find out more about the activities and also how you can be part of the process. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues.